Right, I think we're live. Testing the sound. Yes, the sound is going through. Hopla. Checking the chat. Yes, it's on. Okay, so today it will be a very short stream. What I want to do is go back to my Game Jam game where, if you recall... Oh, hold on. The sound should go through properly this so that you can hear. Yes, perfect. Alright, so if you recall, we had this little guy running around, and we could press the spacebar to make the music sheet come up, and then we could play a little song. If we play the correct song, then we transform into a frog, and by holding down left or right, like the movement buttons, we charge a jump, and when we release, we actually jump. And what I would like to do, I don't have much time, but I would like to start on a new character, which is the chameleon. And the chameleon works by throwing its tongue on either side. And when the tongue hits, or the tongue hits the wall, it brings the tongue back. And since the wall doesn't move, the chameleon will get pulled toward the wall. That's a pretty fun thing to implement, I think. So let's go. Let's do this. First, I need the assets, and the assets are in here. So let's see what we got. Assets. So that's the chameleon scene in Godot. Where are the actual sprites? Resources. Resources. So let's do a search because I'm not gonna waste my time looking. What's the chameleon? Okay, so it was in audio. No, that's audio. No, that's not what we want. Here. Directly in assets. I didn't see it. Okay, so I'll just. Oh, I should copy it because I want to keep it in the original project. Perfect. And then let's see how it was done for the frog, like how I did it last time. Wildwood, putting up the correct file, and frog.png. Or maybe not .png because probably oh yeah, .png. Never mind. So we need a new member, a new field in this thing called chameleon image. And here, chameleon up. So this is a bit kind of annoying that we have to repeat ourselves that many times. I'll fix that at some point in the engine. But in the meanwhile, I still have to do that. That's to switch the image and the image of the character. Like we have a mode, and we'll add a mode called chameleon. In French, it's caméléon. In English, I guess, chameleon. I could look it up, but no, I don't have time. Okay, so that's a new. I guess it was already pre-typed here. Forgot about that. Oh, and yeah, I guess I could put it after those because you meet those first in the game. Chameleon. All right, that should be already enough for us to switch. So what was the shortcut? I think the function keys. So yeah, I can switch to frog, and can I switch to the chameleon? No, error. Oh, that was an experiment I was doing. Could I recover from errors during, like, the idea is that before, when I had an error, I would crash, and I was trying to make it so instead of crashing, it would show an error screen and perhaps more info on the error. I didn't remember I had it still on, and that then I could fix the code and it will hot reload the code and resume from where it was. But it's not kind of finished, so it doesn't show the actual error here. But it should be in the console, right? So let's see. So it's the address annotator that got triggered. And what is it saying? Wildwood melodies, this line, anime infos. Of course, I didn't check all the places that character mode is used, and here we got out of bounds from anime infos. Very interesting. We need one more entry then. That's Chameleon. And so, since we need a new entry, I think it's a bad idea to I'll keep the order, like we will add an entry each time. So, oh, okay, so it didn't manage to resume. Interesting. Maybe because there was another. Okay, so now we are Chameleon. And so what idle frame count? I guess it's stretched. So that's I noticed that it's stretched. So of course, it's not showing the correct frames. That's one thing, but it's also stretched, and that's more a problem. And I'm guessing, yeah, the frog and the kids have the same numbers of frames. But the chameleon has much less frames, if you know what I mean. So much fewer frames. So I suppose I could change hardcode the number of frames here and do the so when I calculate the UVs, I probably divide by the numbers of total frames. Here, here. 16. What the hell? So what is this number? 144? 144, I guess it's maybe the width of this. Yes, it's the width of this. Okay, and then we get the numbers of frame times path index. Okay. To be honest, kind of strange to do it like that. Although I see why. I think maybe the thinking was that I had at the time was that this could be dynamic, like the width of the actual image. But can I retrieve that? Probably I can. I just need to get so the image itself is here. Yeah, no. So we draw it here. So image is that. Image is okay. Found here. So perhaps we could pick the image, like choose or get access the image higher up, and then we can use that image to calculate the UVs. So here. Thing is, this is just a handle to an image, not an actual image. Actual image. Terrible name. Get image or get image. Get. What was it? Get image. Get image, simply. Okay. We have the handle here. Image handle. So I'll just rename this to handle, and then here we can call it image. Image size pixel X. So that's the width of the image, and then we can use that to compute the width of single frame. Well, it's the width of the single frame is static, What am I trying to do actually? I think I'm trying to count. So why don't I actually use just the... because I'm hard-coding all sorts of things here, like 16... okay. I get it. Okay, so this 16 is the actual width of a frame, divided by the total width of the image to get the UV size or coordinate. Okay. And since the image is smaller, then we got stretched because we divided by a number that was too large. So we can say like image size in the axis X, or just use that directly, to be honest. Hopla. So I can put that here, put that here. And it shouldn't change any... Oh, I thought it crashed, but no. I just had this window go over it. Can still draw. Okay, so now we have a frog, but it's cut off. Or a chameleon, but it's cut off. What's actually happening? Yeah. Is that an int? Oh yeah, okay. So I always fall into that trap. You obviously have to cast it. I mean, obviously. Okay, good. So what was happening is I was dividing two integers, and so it was rounding the fractional parts of, or truncating the fractional part from the float result. Poppity-poo. Okay, so now, what should I do now? I should check that the chameleon is not distorted anymore, and it is not. It's fantastic. And now the idle animation, I think in this case is 1 frame long, 2 frame long, 3 frame long actually. I open, I closed, I open again. So 1 frame is duplicate, but that's fine. It's not technically required, I suppose, but it's not a problem either. So I go here and I say the idle is 3 frame long, and now the chameleon is just blinking. Of course, it's blinking a bit too often and for too long, perhaps, but I can fix that later. I cannot move, which is what I want. Because as I explained, we have another mode of transportation, which is using the tongue of the actual chameleon. Nice, it's cute. It's much smaller than a frog for some reason. Don't remember why I drew it so small. Probably because it had to be kind of wide. Okay, so I have about 20 minutes left. So I better start working on the movement. The last frame in the chameleon is when it has the tongue out, right? And that's when you press right or left. So maybe what I'll do is look. So where do we jump with the frog? Where do we charge the jump? Here. I see. Let me make that a little bigger. I see here jump and an SFX frog charge. Okay. So that's all the jump, the movement logic actually for the frog. And that's for the kid. And what we want is add a new one. Could be a switch case, because then we would have gotten a warning that we needed to add a piece of code or an error. but I think a chain of ifs or a series of ifs is also fine. So if we are grounded, is that a requirement for the... I don't think so. I think we can throw our tongue any time. Even if we are falling, it actually can give some, like allow some potential tricks, like throwing your tongue, like jumping with the frog and then switching to the chameleon real quick and throwing the tongue. We had some people do that on the previous game, like on the original game. Alright, so that's if we are pressing left or right. So I'll just copy that, and instead of charging, we want to throw the tongue. And actually, that's for the frog, I guess. Frog. We'll add a new... So the direction in which we will throw the tongue is just player facing something like this one. The sign of this is where we throw the tongue. And then we need the distance for the tongue, how far it is. So tongue distance, and then we need a boolean that tells us if we are currently using our tongue, and it will be called is tonguing, because that's how it was named in the original game, and the programmer of the original game mandated that it should be called the same here, and I totally agree that it's a great name, so we'll keep it. So if we are tonguing, thing is, I don't know if we really need it, because we could just use the distance. Actually, we kind of need to know if we are currently coming back, like pulling the tongue back is tonguing. So yeah, I'll use that as a, like, if it's true, it means that the tongue is going outwards, and if it's false, it means that the tongue is going back, back in. Perfect. If false or true, tongue going out, false, tongue going back in, or already in. Awesome. So that's the frog as the chameleon. I forgot to replace. So if we have any input, then if the tongue distance is equal or smaller than 0, hopefully it's never smaller, but we never know, then we want to, is tonguing is true. Like we throw our tongue at this point. And we can even log like tonguing. And then we can just put some logic that executes always, so not in the if here. Tongue distance plus equal delta time. And then perhaps we can track the value of tongue distance, and that will just log it on the screen here, normally. Tongue distance, it's going. We are at 14, 15. So I guess that's normal since I didn't check the is tonguing. Whoops. GS is tonguing. So if we are going outwards, don't know if it's the best thing, but and otherwise we subtract the delta time, but only if, so maybe we could say move towards. The current value is this. We pass it as a reference, so it can get modified. Target is 0, and delta time is this up. Times, of course, 100 or something. By the way, I should also here, maybe 100 is a bit too much. Then. Okay, so look at the corner here. We got the tongue distance. It's increasing, okay. And if I go left, so now it doesn't change. One sec. Restarting real quick. Going to the chameleon. Activating the tracked values. We are tongue distance at 0. Pressing right, it's increasing. And now it doesn't change anymore. Okay. So the logic is the tongue is extending, and when it hits something, it goes back. So we should set is tonguing to false as soon as it hits something. But before I check if it hits something, I should visualize it, because otherwise it will be a nightmare. So what I will do, I think, is just draw it straight up here. And then I move it, probably it will appear then below the frog, the chameleon. No, I need to be in that part of the code to draw. Because there are like transformations applied and stuff. So draw player, okay, perfect. Tac. So we are back here, and I think we can just go below this. Draw tongue. Okay. So if we are tonguing, we want to draw a rectangle, right? A rectangle. It starts at the position of the player, roughly. So we need a rectangle. So that would be player pose X, of course, and then vertically we'll also use the player pose, and then the width of this should be the tongue distance, like how much the tongue has extended at this point, and then the height should be like 4 pixels or something, maybe 2 is more reasonable, and then the color should be some kind of skin color, so pink, I guess, pink. Do I have some pink predefined? Yes. Awesome. Saving. Okay, we got a compilation error. What is it about? Oh, okay. I wrote rect. It's draw rect. Save. Okay, so we have a pretty long tongue, but it's not showing at this point. Is tonguing should be true because we are increasing I can see the tongue distance increasing. So what's actually going on? Player pose, tongue distance. Let's move it out of the if just in case. No, that's not it. Let's make it taller, like ultra tall. Let's draw it at the origin. Okay, so now we have a huge tongue. Can zoom out, starting from the origin. Okay, so what's wrong with player position then? Okay, so it's starting from the player. I can see it's maybe a bit small for you, but here. So maybe I think I'm very dumb and I forgot to put to change that to a Y. I copy pasted it. No? Ah, okay. I see. The origin of the chameleon is at the center of its feet here. So the tongue was appearing right on the ground. So I should just subtract a bit to the y value. By the way, the y-axis is going down, so that's why I subtract. It makes it go a little bit higher. Hopla. Okay, so we have a pretty... The color is perfect. Maybe a little too saturated, but I like it. Okay, and then perhaps we want to also move it a little bit to the right. So move it 10 pixels or so, 9 pixels, 8 pixels, perfect. So it's connecting 7 pixels, all right, okay. And then we need to change the animation frame so it looks like the mouth is open, so I won't go too far with adjusting the tongue, because maybe the open mouth is a bit higher or something. Of course, if we go this side, like on this, you know what I mean, if we switch to the other orientation, then we want the tongue to be the other side, and this offset as well. So let's start with the offset. We can just multiply the offset, I suppose, with the facing direction. Because the facing dir is just a float that is either 1 or -1. Could be an integer, by the way, but yeah. So now if I face to the right, the tongue is starting offset from the center a little bit to the right, and if I move the other way, face the other way, the offset is going the other way. We can do the exact same thing for the tongue distance. We multiply it by the facing dir, and then perfect! We got a tongue going both ways. Now, what we want... So first of all, when we reset the game, we want the tongue to be reset to 0. That's for sure. Even just for testing, that would be good. By the way, I should reset all the things, but I don't know why I'm not doing it right now, probably for some important reason. Let's try. No? Yeah, it crashes, okay. So probably I store my tile map here or something. Or the sounds. Yeah, I should not store the sounds there. It's the playing sounds, though. Maybe that's correct. Why did I crash? Let's actually check the... No idea. No log. Weird. Normally there should be a stack trace. Ooh, what the hell? Okay, I don't want to investigate that now. So I won't. I'll do that another time. But okay, this works. Okay, so we cannot to do investigate why we can't reset game states. Okay, and then so what I wanted to do is just reset the tongue distance to 0. And perhaps also the is tonguing to false, or 0 is fine as well. Great, so now we have a growing tongue. It's a bit... Yeah, it's a bit slow, of course, but that's good for debugging. We can keep it that speed at that point. And what we want to do is, when it hits the wall, I'll put the wall a little closer. Oops. So up. When it hits the wall, we want it to go back in. And actually, I just remembered it shouldn't just go back in, it should take the chameleon with it. So that's something I didn't think about. So should the tongue distance decrease at the same time as the chameleon moves? I think yes. I think that remains the simplest. I could also track the position of the end of the tongue. But yeah, both techniques could work. But the end of the tongue. So what I'm thinking is maybe it's easier to track the end of the tongue, so we don't have to recalculate the. No, 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 no. Okay, yeah, I'll do that. That's also fine. Tongue and no. Okay. I'm having trouble making up my mind because both options have pros and cons that I don't want to necessarily explain because I don't have much time left. I should go in 5 to 5 minutes basically. So let's do the collision and make the tongue go back. I think that will be already fun. And actually we can quickly also change the animation frame so it looks like the chameleon is opening the mouth. And we can do that. Frog anim, camel anims. I got lazy here. Didn't want to type the whole name, but actually, why not? Chameleon. So if we are the chameleon and we are currently tonguing, as we do, we override the sprite index. Sprite index to be so 0, 1, 2 are taken and 4 is the no 3 3 is the one, yay, with the mouth open, and the color is pretty close, to be honest. I think I could leave it like this if I wanted to. So let's put it just a little bit higher so it lines up with the mouth. Yes, and we can back it up a few pixels. I mean, that's a bit weird still. So I guess it should be 1 pixel high. I don't know how it was in the original game, I could check. Let's make it 1 pixel so it fits exactly. Yeah? Yeah, it's a bit thin. Maybe I should make the mouth taller, and then the tongue can be taller as well. Not today. The collision. So the movement of the chameleon is somewhere down here. Here. So we are tonguing. Tongue collision. If we are tonguing. And that's it. If we are tonguing, we want to check for collisions continuously. So first we need to determine the position of the tongue, the current position, and that's kind of annoying to do, tongue distance, because we have to do the same offsetting that we did when we draw the tongue. That kind of sucks, but honestly, it's also okay. I mean, yeah, I should make them constants and stuff, or provide functions to get the origin. Should I? I should. So that would be the tongue origin. Like that, and then I can use it like that, and that would be the tongue size, I guess. Well, that one is kind of different. I can leave it here. But what I want is a way to get the tongue. I suppose the origin is already enough. Okay, so tongue origin will actually be a function. Tongue origin get, let's make it like this, and then we go at the top. We will quick define it. Tongue origin get doesn't need any input, any arguments, any parameters. It takes void, returns a vector 2. That should be all right. Forgot the semicolon, I do that a lot these days, I don't know why. Tongue collision, we need the tip of the tongue. Tongue, tip, pause. So the tongue starts, so we'll just get the tongue origin and then add to it, right? Add in the x-axis, we add the tongue distance times the facing dir. All right, so that was a bit of typing, but now we have the tongue tip position, and we can debug that by just drawing a rectangle. Draw rectangle or circle at the tip position. It will be 4 pixels wide and it will be red. And don't forget the semicolon. Okay, so I don't see any circle, unfortunately, regrettably. That's because I'm in the physics part of the code, like the updates, and not the drawing part of the code. So the transformations of the word are not applied, sadly. I'm a bit not so. So either I can trust that my tongue tip pose is correct, or I can just copy paste that code maybe after drawing the player, just for a quick check. So that's correct, right? Why is it in such high resolution? I thought I was rendering to a back buffer. Ah, because I'm in the editor, and here I'm not, so it's pixelated, okay. So we can go back to the editor to get a nice circle, if we want, or stay here. So when I press right, so the tip position is perfectly fine. Now we just need to detect when we hit something and move. Will I manage to finish? I don't think so. So tongue tip pose. So what should I do? So the detection of the tile map. So tile map at pose or something like this. Pose, chord from pose. So game state map. No, res for resources. Tile map. Pass it as a reference, the pointer. The position will be tongue tip pose, of course. So that gets us vector 2 of integers, the coordinates of the position, and then we can just tile map at. I think that's the correct one. And we pass to it the coordinates. Ah, crap. I don't know why I did it as separate. Okay, that's fine. Vec2 y t chords. That's a bit tedious. That's definitely a to-do to streamline a little bit that API. So I have to save the chords separately. Then the layer is 0, and then I can pass them one by one, because instead of accepting a vector of integers, vector 2, I accept them separately. Okay. And then finally here, I get the type of tile that is at the position I'm testing, tile ID. And if the tile ID is not 0, it means that we hit something, if I remember correctly. And then we can exit the is-tonging state. And hopefully it should go back. The tong should go back. And here we can log hey. And then I should leave, unfortunately. The tongue is going out very slowly. We can add something in the way. Up. Ah. Well, it instantly stopped. I suppose I forgot that. Yeah, I draw the tongue only if we are tonging, which is not. So when we are not tonging, it means that we are possibly going back. So actually it should be like tongue distance. And we should also check that we are the chameleon, I think. Mode, chameleon, and the distance is bigger than 0. And actually we don't even have to check that, because it would be a 0-sized tongue, but pop, and we go back. And the mouth should keep open. That's also something we can real quick fix. Tongue distance smaller than 0. That's not it. Where are the draw tongue? No. That's the one. Is tonging should be tongue distance bigger than 0. So the mouth of the chameleon will be open as long as the tongue is larger than 0. So that's pretty perfect. So I'll leave it at that for today, and continue soon enough, I hope. So bye, thanks for watching.